All right. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Truth About Money. Today is really the beginning, or kickstarting our new 50-week course called Truth, which does continue on the 14th and 15th of February, depending on where you are, 14th for the USA and 15th for Australia. So it is the first time we are running this program, and it really comes off the back of the new book, Mind Lies and the Truths That Will Set You Free. So it's almost, if you like, the sequel to the Mind Lie book. Not that you have to finish the Mind Lie book in time for that course, and I encourage you to take your time reading that book, but that book is really the prerequisite for the Truth program. And if you haven't read the Mind Lie book, I just have to ask, why on earth not? It is the fast track. It is designed to clear these non-truths deep in the subconscious level while you're reading it. And so it was a huge journey for me, very challenging work, a very challenging experience, but incredibly enlightening and rewarding. Far more so than it was challenging, actually, which is always good. And that work was put in, for me, but also now it means you don't have to do all that work for yourself. So if you haven't got yourself a copy of the Mind Lie book, I would be very suspicious, if I were you, of what your mind is up to, getting in the way of you reading that. So get your hands on that, whatever it takes. So talking about this program of truth and why we're doing it, it's become I've become very aware of the importance of holding a space of truth. And having spent pretty much nearly all of my life involved in this, I find it, I guess a lot easier than most to stay in this space. It used to be very, very challenging, and fortunately, I'm at the point now where it comes much more easily, especially having written the Mind Lie book. But for many people, holding this space in light of what life experiences come, it can be quite difficult. So the Truth course is there to bring you back into a space of truth every week, despite what experiences of life are happening. So if you're finding it challenging to stay out of the mind, out of this ego, and remaining in this ongoing connected space, then if you're not booked into truth yet, definitely look at that and see how that sits, see how that feels within you. So it is our way of supporting your journey over the next year. And we find that if you can hold that space for a solid year or even 6 months, then holding it after that becomes a walk in the park. And this is why it's a year-long program, because over a year you will experience everything that you would experience in life. You'd experience the ups and downs of the ego and the beliefs. And so if you can hold the space through that, then anything after that becomes a breeze for you. So I'm just noticing as I'm talking, some people are still having a little bit of trouble logging on. But we will need to begin. So, like I said, it is being recorded. So let's begin with the biggest mind lie to do with money. But before we delve deep, let me, bring to your awareness that some of these truths and even these non-truths might push some buttons, might be a bit activating. And so you can expect the mind to want to throw up distractions and reactions, but stay the course. Don't get distracted. Don't disconnect. Don't hang up. Just stay the course. Because the mind despises being exposed. And it will throw up all kinds of things. Husbands walking in, wives walking in, technical issues, falling asleep, all these kinds of things. All of a sudden getting confused. So just be conscious to these distractions of the ways of the mind and how it attempts to sabotage you. So just stay on the line and stay focused. Now, that is a really important point. What we're going to delve into does get pretty deep, and I'm going to talk as slowly as I can just so you can absorb and really let in the truth. But if you're not paying attention, some of it does or could end up sounding a bit like a Dr. Seuss book. So this is why this is a time to nurture being present. Just listen and follow as best as you can, and I'll repeat the really important things, but more as a process of you going deeper with integration rather than in case you missed it the first time. I'm going on the premise that you are all listening very intently, which would be wonderful for you. So, what is this mind lie about money that we're going to deal with? Well, the very first one we're going to look at is this. I need money. That's the first mind lie. I need money. Now, like countless other mind lies, on the surface, this seems truthful. One would argue, well, of course, I need money. This is how the world works. Money buys me what I need to survive and thrive on this earth. So of course I need money. But don't let it fool you, because this is just a belief, just another mind lie like all the others. And like all the others, this one is causing havoc from deep within the mind, causing anxiety, controlling our decisions, dictating the outcomes, and stressful and disconnected ones at that. Which brings me to recap on why look at mind lies in the first place. Why review the contents of our mind? We've just gotten used to it, haven't we? Well, for the simple reason that the mind is full of non-truths. The mind is everything that still needs healing. And just the presence of these non-truths affects the body, ages the body, affects your well-being, and steers you away from a free-flowing and abundant, fulfilling life. These beliefs, these mind lies, are a program, like a computer program, counter to the life you actually desire for yourself. So the more truth in your life, the more abundant and fulfilling your life becomes, the more free you feel. The more non-truth, the more you experience the same over and over again, the struggle and disconnection from your source, from your true self. This is why we are looking at mind lies, to get to the truth, to set us all free. So let's dig deeper and see what is the truth behind I need money. Now, the deeper you go, the more you get to see that this belief, funnily enough, has nothing to do with money itself, but rather it is all about the need for money. The need. I need money. That's the non-truth right there. And here you get a glimpse into the inner workings of the mind and how it creates these giant gaping voids in our life, distracting us into filling these voids rather than living a life on purpose. Because here the mind has us focus on needing and then acquiring money, having you convinced that the need for money is a fair and reasonable belief to have. And in a very real sense, you are overlooking the need itself, and you have bought into the concept of having money for the things you need. So it has us running in circles, dealing with the need for money. But it's not about having money. It's about keeping you in a space of needing money. It's not about money at all. It's just the needing of money, irrespective of how much you have or don't have. So just take a moment to let that land. The need. It's all about the belief and the feelings I need, and it doesn't even matter how the sentence ends. It just happens to be about money. I need money. That's the non-truth. And it's very convincing. The mind is so convincing at having you feel that your survival or sanity is dependent on filling this need. But this need represents not a need for money itself, but a need for so many other things. So money is actually the least of what it is based on, but rather it is based on what money has come to represent for you in the mind. So when we elevate beyond the mind, that's where we can access the truth, because the truth will set us free from spending our whole life chasing this ghost. Now, when we go beyond the mind, there are several layers that are hiding deeper in this truth. I'll name a few here. The first one is the mind uses external accomplishments. But in truth, everything exists within you. So if you look at it, what money has come to mean for many of us is the need for recognition. Others will recognize me if I have money. Money has come to mean a particular social standing, whether you're accepted, embraced, or rejected in a social group. It's also come to represent a feeling of accomplishment or arrival at a particular stage of life. See if you can feel that within you, that money has come to mean representing all these things, which is quite interesting because all of a sudden the mind presents it as you need money for money's sake. But that's not what this belief is based on. So just see if you can feel that coming up within you, the need for social standing, accomplishment, feelings of arrival, feelings of freedom perhaps, feeling life is on track. Money has come to represent so many things. But you can be immediately suspicious of these mind lies, of these outcomes, because they are all external. The mind uses these external accomplishments. So if you feel compelled to achieve these things, to get recognition, to create a feeling of well-being, of accomplishment and satisfaction, if I need to do something outside of myself to feel these things inside myself, you've got to be highly suspicious and realize that the mind is tricking you. Because the mind uses external accomplishments, but in truth, everything exists within you, not outside of you. So the need for these external accomplishments is simply the mind looking to validate its existence. Just going to run that by you again. The need for these external accomplishments is the mind looking to validate itself. But the mind is fiction. So following the path of the mind is an endless journey. As how can you validate something that was never real in the first place? In this, though, you believe you are validating or attempting to validate yourself. That's why you're pursuing money in this way, or pursuing respect, accomplishments, freedom, whatever it might be. You believe you're validating yourself, but you're not. It's the mind attempting to validate itself, because your true self does not require validating, because it is what is real. And that which is real does not require validation. Only that which doubts itself, that isn't inherently real, i.e. the mind, needs validation. And you'll get to really deep layers of this in the Mind Life book. But like I said, the true self is real, so it does not seek for validation. So just let that in. Really just let that in and feel that integrating. The mind is seeking validation, not you. So let's go deeper again. And you'll find the need for money is also built upon the need to see yourself as doing the right and dutiful thing. If I'm making money, I'm being responsible. So it is the need for validation as a responsible and sensible adult. The need to do the right thing is powering the need for money. We all want to be doing the right thing by ourselves, being responsible, making the right decisions. Because behind this need to do the right thing and dutiful thing is the need to be seen by ourselves as having it together. We have our act together. We're able to manage and sustain ourselves. Look at me go. I've got my act together. And that's all tied in with the need for money. But like I said, none of this has anything to do with money itself. And this continues further down the rabbit hole. But let's skip ahead and let's get some truth. So what this is all pointing to is the need to validate need itself. Say that again. Where this is pointing to, what this is all about, is the need to validate need, that energy of need itself. Need is a concept. To validate that need itself. We as human beings actually only have a few very basic needs. Oxygen, food, water, and shelter would be great. But in terms of what the amount of needs the mind has us believe we have, that's what has us chase our tail for the rest of our life. Because if we're truly only going for our actual needs, we wouldn't be following the ways of the mind. So the mind tricks us into believing we have all these other needs. We have need. So need itself is what's at play. The mind keeps us on a treadmill attempting to validate, are you ready for this? Attempting to validate the need for needs, to need to have needs. For without validating the need for needs, what's left? An invalidated need, or an invalid mind. The mind is always attempting to validate itself. And if it does not have you attempting to validate the need, it's left feeling invalid. The mind wants to believe it's real. It's like Pinocchio. It keeps saying, no, I'm real. I'm real. I'm a real boy. I'm a real girl. I'm what's real. Anything else is the illusion. That's what the mind says. But of course, it's got it all backwards. It's what's not real. It's the illusion. But it's desperately avoiding feeling invalid and not the truth. So the mind is seeking to validate that it is valid. And the only way it can do this is by having you chase all your needs. So the mind is full of these needs. Chasing money is one of the greatest mind validations there is. Really keeps it alive. Money and time. Time is another big one for the mind. I'm running out of time. I need more time. I've got a small amount of time on this earth. Always using time. Time and money really support the existence of that identity. And guess what? Both are made up. But to the mind, both are very crucial to your existence on earth, to your very survival. That's how it paints that picture. That's the belief and that's the feeling. But of course, that's the non-truth. So do you need money? There is no need to need money. Just let that land. There is no need to need money. It doesn't have to be a need. It doesn't have to be something that drives you, that makes you chase after it. That's the mind, and it's a distraction because it's not the truth. The need is imagined, and it is defining your very identity. So remember, the emphasis is on having the need, not on having the money. That's what these mind lies are. They trick you to focusing on the illusion rather than what the remedy is, the non-truth being the need. Now, here's the key point. It's the mind's need, not your need. So stop seeing yourself as the mind and you'll cease experiencing its needs. That I really want to repeat. I need money is the mind's need, not your need. When you stop seeing yourself as the mind, you'll cease experiencing its needs. Now, we've been in this energy of the mind since time we were born, or even earlier for some of us. It's become who we are. But it was never who we are. We've just come to believe it's who we are. And because we believe it's who we are, we get to experience whatever the mind itself is experiencing. It's like watching a TV show for years and years and years that you become so invested with the characters or a particular character that you experience the emotions, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of this character as you're watching them. But the character is not you. That character was made up for TV, as is the mind. The mind was made up. This is exactly what we deal with in Mind Lies. So just take a moment to integrate that. There is no need to hold on to the need for money. It's the mind's need. I'm just going to do a little integration for you guys. So just relax into this space. We're going to bring in that integration. You can really feel that. There is no need to need money. Let it go. Let go of that need. It's just the mind stringing you along by your nose. Great. And just breathe that in. Now, to help with this realization, to have this truth really integrate, let's explore another mind lie that is popping its head up and blocking this integration just a little bit. Now, this new mind lie, the next one is another big one. And it is this: money is difficult to obtain. Money is difficult to obtain. It's hard to get. It's out of reach. A very commonly held belief. It's a societal belief throughout humanity. But again, a non-truth. But how many of us have believed that over our life? That that's what it is. It's just a fact. Just as the fact of having childbirth is going to be painful, money's hard to get. It takes effort, and it could take exhaustion. That's just reality. Well, it's not the truth. The same as birthing doesn't need to be painful. But what makes money seemingly hard to obtain, or the feeling or belief that it requires excessive effort? What does that? What creates that? Well, it's the belief that money is outside of me. Money is outside, separate, and distant. And this is exactly how most of us, if not all of us, relate to money. It's not who we are. It's not even a part of us. It is out there somewhere else in the world, in somebody else's hands. It's not me. It's not what I am. It's out there. And it's that belief that makes money hard to get. We're really creating our own reality. And this is another alarm bell. So when the mind has you see other things as separate and disconnected from you, it's a really good telltale sign that you're in the mind. If you start feeling money's out there, or this is disconnected, I'm not this, I'm not that, that's a non-truth. So let that alarm bell have you remember to come back into truth, out of the mind and into truth. So what is the truth? The truth is this: all energies dwell within you. But it's the belief I am separate and disconnected from money itself that puts it at a distance, when in truth there is no distance. Now you've seen this with the different energies we use at UI, whether we're bringing in self-belief or stillness or self-love. All these energies are accessible, when many of you thought they are external and at a distance from you. They are all very well within reach, because despite what the mind says, they are all within you, the real you. They're not in the mind. So it's quite funny. The mind says, no, they're not in you. But what the mind is really saying, no, they're not in me. They might be in you, but they're not in me. And that would be true, because these energies aren't in the mind for most of us. Just not there. So the mind is actually speaking truth. But the way we see it is it's talking about us, which is the non-truth. So what makes seeing money as internal rather than external is the thought that it's physical. And not only that, but someone else has it. That's what makes seeing money as internal quite challenging. Well, that's a physical object. That's definitely physical. The energy of self-love or stillness, yeah, they're energies. They're not physical. But money is clearly physical, at least as far as the mind is concerned. And that's what makes it challenging. It's just the mind's way of holding you back, because money is energy. Everything begins as energy. Its essence is energy. This label of physicality is from the mind. The mind decided this is a physical universe, this is a spiritual universe. It's all one energetic universe that takes on many different levels of frequencies and densities. Mind loves labels. Again, more alarm bells. You start labeling things or seeing labels on things, you can be very suspicious that you're in the mind. So what's the truth? It is this: those with money and those without the constant need for money have realized something that many of you have not. And that is that the source of money is not from having the need for money, but rather in realizing I am money. Let me say that again. Those with money and those without that constant, perpetual need, that feeling, needing money, have realized something profound. And that is that the source of money does not come from having the need for money, but in the realization, I am money. Said differently, people who seem to possess a lot of money recognize a lot of money energy inside of them. Or, said differently, they see that they are made of money. And that's something my mother used to say to me as a kid growing up, was that person over there, they're made of money. And she said it in a negative sense, but it was really pointing to something she didn't have within her. She did not see that she had money energy. She was not made of money. Now, before the mind arcs up on that one, realize you are made of all energies. And all energies includes money energy. Allow that in. You are made of money energy. You are made of all energies, of all frequencies. Just take a moment to let that in. I am money. I am all energies. I am all energies. I am the money energy. I am the energy of money. Now you might feel some reactions around that, and that's a good indication that where there's belief saying, no, I reject money, or money's bad, they're all labels, they're all non-truths, they're all beliefs. So just keep going with that integration. And when you realize that how can something be separate and hard to get, which was what was that original belief, money is separate and hard to get. How can it be separate and hard to get if it's my intrinsic nature? These all energies are within and available. Makes sense. So you can see that money can't possibly be hard to get if it is your intrinsic nature. It's just the belief that it's separate and outside of me that makes it hard to get, seem hard to get. These are beliefs many of us are raised with, societal belief systems. Now this brings us to a deeper truth about money being hard to get. And that is, money doesn't like being chased. To chase something comes from, I need it because I am without it. And this stems from seeing everything as external to you, which is not the truth. Everything is within. Now, money from a space of truth won't validate such a non-truth. So it will keep running away from you. That energy of I am separate, disconnected, unworthy of money repels money. Money says, that's not my truth. That's not your truth. I'm not going to be drawn into your energy if that's what you believe, because that would be validating that non-truth. And I'm here to help raise consciousness, not stifle it. So money will keep running away from you if you believe it is outside of you, separate, or not of you. So seeing it as separate and hard to acquire pushes it away. Because money has a truth, and money's truth is this: I am available to all who see themselves as me. You might want to write that one down. Let me say it again. Money's truth is this: I am available to all who see themselves as me. And we become so conditioned to see ourselves through the lens of the mind that we are a human being and we are our physical bodies. But this is what the Mind Lies journey is all about, what the book is all about, what our teachings are all about, is going beyond that lens, that perspective that says, I am this body, I am this confined entity, and seeing yourself not as any one thing, but as everything. That's the essence of the Mind Lie book, to take you on that journey. So money's truth, I'm available to all who see themselves as me. How do we do that? How do we make that transition? Well, to see yourself as everything is the greatest act of self-love. Therefore, money is another name for self-love. Or said differently, money is a direct expression or extension of self-love. It wants you to see yourself as it. Seeing yourself as it, as everything, is self-love. Therefore, self-love is money. Money is an extension, an expression, an aspect of self-love. It's part of a continuum. So when you're honoring yourself, being self-loving, acting in a self-loving way, money is just one of the energies that reflect that in abundance. Now, I'm finding it challenging with the confines of this language to really express money and self-love as one. And I'm feeling you guys are getting a grasp around that. If you see money and self-love as one, not even a product of the other. I mean, that is great. If you can see money as a product of self-love, that is a huge step. But go even deeper. See, it is the same thing. Holding a space of self-love is what creates the money. But it's like an instantaneous thing. See if you can let that in. They're one and the same thing. And that seems to be integrating well. So to chase it is coming from money is worth more than I am. But to love yourself is coming from I am worth. I am it. For I am love. Love is what I am. In realizing this, you go from chasing money to it chasing you. Now, the blockage that comes up often in this space is the next mind lie, and that is that achieving self-love is harder than making money in that old paradigm, the old-fashioned way, the hard, tiring way, where we used to chase it and flog ourselves to exhaustion. This belief that, self-love, got to be kidding. That is insurmountable. That's up there with enlightenment. I know that takes 5 lifetimes. I'm better off just going to make money the old-fashioned way. So we default to being like everyone else where money is concerned, flogging ourselves and prioritizing money over ourselves, over our health, over our well-being, over our purpose, and even over our relationships. So we as the human race have largely sold out on being self-loving in attempt to make money the mind's way, which ultimately takes away from us far more than it gives. And you can see countless examples Yes, there are people all over the planet who are millionaires, billionaires, who have made money, but not from a space of truth. So yes, you can make money that way. It's everywhere. But making money the mind's way will take away something precious. So where people have made money the mind's way without the truth, without purpose, the process by which the money is made deducts more than it adds. Be that resources in our environment, damaging the planet, exhaustion to their own bodies, aging their own bodies, destroying relationships, destroying health. We see countless times people spend all their health in an attempt to create wealth, only then to have to use all their wealth to try and bring back their health. Because the mind, its ways, its strategies, its methods are not in your highest good. They're not from a space of truth. So, when you look at it like this, it can become very clear that the truth about money isn't about money at all. It's all about sacrificing self-love. This entire conversation we're having, albeit one-sided right now, is about reverting back to self-love. So once this is done, money becomes that, an extension of that, of you being self-loving. So the truth about money is self-love. It's not about the need. It's not about it being hard. That's all non-truth. Now, to bring us back into this truth, let's overcome a fear. The fear that there are a bunch of other mind lies are creating. And that is this. Fear is, and it's also a mind lie, if I stop to be self-loving, I take time out to be self-loving and achieve this seemingly insurmountable task, I will actually sacrifice my financial well-being. That's the belief. To stop to be self-loving, I will sacrifice my financial well-being. That's what the mind wants us all to believe. And that's the biggest obstacle for many of us. Now, there is the belief that creates that fear. It's quite common in humanity and has many different names. I'm kind of going to give it a bit of a name here called the hippie mindset. Remember the hippies from the 60s and 70s and today created a little bit of a tool for the mind to distract us. And it is this. If I stop to be self-loving, like the hippies have, all those seeking enlightenment and spiritual quests, I'll give up on making money. I won't want to do it anymore. I'll give up on attracting money into my life, leaving myself for dead, broke and an unsuccessful bum, just like many other hippies in the world. So this concept of stopping to focus on self-love is exactly what the mind wants us to focus on. Because we've seen countless examples whether it's the hippies or other groups through other times in history who have tried to nurture that and have been unsuccessful. The mind draws on that. But, again, it is fraught with non-truths. So whilst it is appearing as a deterrent to embracing self-love over money, the hippie movement, if you look at all these movements and the lack of money associated with them, was not because the hippies were coming from a focus on self-love. The mind wants you to think that, but rather the emphasis on the love of the earth, above and beyond the self. Love the planet first. And that's out of sequence. That is not what the planet wants. Because where they're coming from, love of the earth over the self, and double whammy, the rejection of money. being evil. And this is rampant, not just in hippies, in many spiritual cultures, many groups, social groups, societal groups around the planet, whilst seemingly going for self-love, are actually rejecting themselves, because their space of going for self-love is, I'm not lovable already. I'm not okay as I am. And money is a distraction. Money is the root of all evil. So these groups have now got this reputation as, if you stop and go for self-love and cultivate that in your life, you'll be broke. But that's not the truth at all, because there are other things at play. And so the hippies didn't get it right. They were out of balance, and a lot of these movements were. So the mind has us confused, tricking us into thinking that that way of being, pursuing self-love, is going to send us into feeling unsuccessful, unfulfilled, and a bum. So what's the truth? Truth is, self-love is the only thing that will save us and humanity right now. It is the only thing. It's exactly the one thing we all need in our life. And don't need to need it, but it's the one thing that we are being steered and guided towards embracing into our life. It's not outside of ourselves, so you don't need it in that sense. It's already within. You need to realize it as the one thing we need to realize. It's what humanity needs to realize right now. And to prioritize ourselves over chasing money is exactly what creates more money and balance. Because when we come from self-love, we do not take things away from us. We do not ruin our health, the planet, or anyone else around us, or the relationships. Self-love is this guaranteed success formula to creating balance, fulfillment, and money. But let's go a bit deeper so you can truly realize the importance of swapping self-love for the pursuit of money. Realize, I am money when I am in self-love. That's a big one. I am money when I am in self-love. When you think about it, it's the same realization as I become healthy when I eat healthy foods. It's a very simple balanced equation, or an equation that creates perfect balance. I am money when I'm in self-love. Make that shift away from defaulting towards needing money and into realizing self-love. But the funny thing that comes up for many people in this moment is that I can't afford to be self-loving because it's insurmountable. Who can afford to wait to achieve that? That's the mind masquerading this concept of self-love as insurmountable. Because the irony is that becoming self-loving is what's happening now. And it is the only thing that will pay the bills and give you plenty left over without taking anything away. So currently, self-love looks insurmountable and unachievable. But realize this. All self-love really means is to stop focusing outside of yourself. Turn inward. Focus inward. Don't seek the external validations, the external paths. Seek to have the internal realization. That's self-loving, right there. It's not the enlightenment that many of the minds are turning it into, this lifetimes and lifetime pursuit. It's here now. We're doing it right now. You are being self-loving now, because all self-loving requires of you be inward focused, not externally focused. Don't compare yourself out there to the world. Don't look for external validation. Don't look for what everyone else is doing as a benchmark for who you are. Don't look at the clock to see how you're tracking in life and whether you're on purpose. That's not self-loving. Come back to being self-loving, and money you will be. It's simply to stop occupying your awareness with the thought, I need money, and turn your focus inward to, I am money. And you've just done that. So you've already achieved self-love. Once again, as the mind had built it into this impossible task, you had just done it. You're doing it right as I'm talking. And you'll continue to do it even when this call is complete. Keep your focus inward. And by turning your focus inward, you'll also get to see far more crucial needs that are real. And in providing those for yourself, you will be in self-love. Whether it's to reconnect with children, reconnect with partners, spend more time in nature, help in particular causes. That's what being self-loving does. Steers you toward that which warms your heart, that which fulfills you, and that which creates abundance. The universe supports those that love what they are. Or more accurately put, the universe supports those that love being what they are. Everything. Which brings me to the concluding realization for our conversation. That's the next level. So when you look at the original mind lie that we begun with, I need money. Well, so far we've removed a non-truth, the word need. Let's remove that out of the sentence. But there is another non-truth we need to clear up, and that is the word or letter I, as in I need money. That I is the mind identity, not your true self. So instead of being that I, you have another choice. And that is to be the real I or the real you. And the real you is this universal infinite purpose. Purpose. When you return to the real you, the on-purpose you, purpose just is money. So we remove the non-truths from the sentence, I need money. We remove I, substitute it with purpose. Get rid of need. We're left with purpose, money. Purpose and money. One and the same. Purpose, money. Self-love, purpose and money. All one and the same. Because to see yourself as your purpose is the ultimate act of self-love, which is money. When you return to purpose, you'll cease seeking money and rather begin to be on purpose. Seeking money distracts from being on purpose. Seeking money distracts from being on purpose. Distractions don't create money, but money is created by being on purpose, by being your purpose. So you are, your intrinsic nature is not an I, is not the mind, it's purpose. Be that purpose and you'll cease focusing on money, which will have it chase you.